Now, a Talk Radio 1210 WPHT special presentation.
Let's put a trigger warning on trigger warning.
That's right, we're back for another Otherside with Dan and Dorenzo. Dan speaking, and next to Anthony Dorenzo from 12 to WPHT as we take you on the other side of the glass. I'm Dom Giordano's producer, Anthony Dorenzo, Dawn Stensland's producer, and man, do we have so much we want to talk about. Surprise, we're here, but there's so much stuff, man, that we got to get to. Flyers went last night to Pride Night. Cutter Gauthier, man, what's going on there? We'll get into that a little bit. And a lot going on in Washington, too. A lot about the border, a lot with Hunter Biden. And Anthony, I'm going to give you the mantle. How you doing, sir? Where do you want to start today's other side? Because we got too much for myself to figure out what the hell I want to do.
There's a lot to talk about, but I think I'm going to start with, and we missed this completely last podcast, the fact that Best Buy has removed is in the process of removing all of their physical media when it comes to DVDs, CDs, Blu-ray. I don't know about vinyl because it seems like everyone still wants vinyls, so I don't know if that means vinyls. Same with video games. The video game displays will continue to be there, at least for now, so we'll see how that moves forward. But I don't know, as millennials, that makes me kind of hurt inside. Just hearing that we're not going to have more.
You're telling me that we're going to walk into Best Buy, we're not going to see any of these kind of great shelves of movies. Are you still doing video games? Do you know, or?
Yeah, they're supposed to still have the video game displays and games, at least for the time being. There's no plan to remove that, so that's still, is nostalgic for people. But it just sucks, man. I get it. There's less and less disk drives. There's less and less physical media in that kind of a sense. But, it's just something you're used to, and seeing that go away. I mean, I get it. People are streaming more and more, but what happens when the internet goes out? What happens when you don't have power? You need to rely on old battery-powered DVD player or a generator.
Well, it's the World Economic
when the power's
Forum,
out.
man. It's good old Klaus coming out again, that we're going to enter into a society where we don't own, we just rent. And that's the thing with digital media that's really scary is, like you're saying, once these streaming services decide to no longer list a product, something that happens in the gaming community a lot is they'll have an indie game that's listed on a store, like a PlayStation store, and then it gets delisted, and it almost becomes lost media. And the other side of things, too, with physical media, it's great. A lot of people like to collect. To have the physical media, the collecting aspect of it is huge. And to take that away, I showed the picture there for a second. I can bring it back up here, but that's what those shelves are looking like now at Best Buy. Very depressing. Very depressing. But it's the state of the society we live in, right, Anthony? I mean, what else? Housing's a situation too, similar. Luckily, I was able to buy a house, but it feels like they're BlackRock, Blackstone stepping in here, the big corporations, and trying to take over what should be, first-time home buyers and such. We're moving into a society where we're not going to be able to physically hold anything that's our own anymore, and it's petrifying.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's just part of people don't necessarily want the physical media, so I don't know if that. Yeah, I agree in general that they don't want us to own anything, but I feel like something that's just such a base level, everyone has just adjusted so quick, and nobody, like you said, how many collectors are there even? I don't know how many of my friends still even have DVDs. I mean, I do. I have DVDs. I have Blu-ray. I specifically got the PlayStation with the Blu-ray player because I knew I just wanted to be able to have discs and play my old discs that I have and things like that. So. But it is going away. Less and less people care about it. And, it's just that feeling, man. That feeling of opening a special edition movie you love, comes with a cool poster. Just that kind of the experience of it all. Or even when we used to go to Blockbuster when we were kids. And you could buy a movie for $5 because they rented it so many times. And there was 3 scratches on it. And there's popcorn butter.
Remember going into, I remember my local ShopRite had a rental section where you can go and rent video games. And it was the way my mom would entice me to go grocery shopping. Is
was it the Red Box?
No, this is before. I'm talking it was a mini Blockbuster in the Cherry Hill ShopRite at one point.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, and it's sad, man. It's I'm a big nerd. I think I'm pretty open about that. And a lot of what I do when I'm at home is when I'm watching a relaxing YouTube video, I'll go to some of the vintage gaming nerds. And there's really now a huge community of people who collect NES games, Sega Genesis games. And when you're taking away physical media like this, you're robbing the future, kids who are nostalgic about the current games from being able to trade it and have collector's items and such. It's John joining us. He says, you own your house until you can't pay taxes on it. Pretty much what a lot of people are facing in New Jersey. Taxes are so high that those who are retired and paid off their houses are being driven out because taxes are essentially another mortgage payment.
What a shocker. The New Jersey taxes are awful. But, I mean, Pennsylvania's catching up quick, so.
Yeah, and like with what's going on in New York, man, we'll get into that now. Brooklyn, there is a school that migrants have essentially taken over where, parents were told that their kids got to learn remotely because the gymnasium is being occupied by a bunch of migrants. So it's a weird world because you think if you're bringing in all these migrants, what's gonna happen to the housing community? Like real estate's gonna go even crazier. So good luck, progressives.
Yeah, I mean it's a housing crisis already. Why are we? I don't understand why we're doing this.
Yeah. Hey, so did you see in San Francisco? I just want to bring up this video before we move on to another topic because it's sitting here on my screen. They passed a ceasefire resolution regarding Israel and Gaza and all that. But I just love these were on video here. Free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. I love the stereotypes that you just see there and the masks. I love that they're all still wearing masks.
I will say, and I'm not necessarily like quote unquote masker, but people have really been getting sick a lot this year, so I don't blame people for wearing the mask. If you
do you think there's a lot of anti-vaxxers who say it's the vaccine, it's RDNA that's causing flus to last longer and all? You don't buy into that? I don't necessarily buy into that, no. And I we can't try to bring every sort of symptom we've dealt with lately just because of the vaccine. I don't think that's a logical way to move forward. Are there certain things that we can ask questions and debate? Yeah, sure. But we can't just jump to those conclusions, in my opinion. Jim writes in, I hate when you call them migrants. They're illegals. Sure.
Well, Trump called them migrants too, so be mad at Trump as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's important, though. You got to specify because they'll twist it. The left is going to twist it on Trump again and say, oh, look at you talking about migrants. And remember, you had to specify, I think it was Caitlin Collins or someone where he said, I'm speaking about illegal immigration here. Talking about anti-vaxxers, though, one of the people that got a lot of flack, but turned out seems to be doing something right with that Achilles. Aaron Rodgers causing a stir again, appearing on Pat McAfee's show.
After saying he would never be again.
Joining us now to chit-chat about massive names being, amicably departed from two teams at a very, very high level. He's a four-time NFL MVP and a man who is a Super Bowl champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the last human that Bill Belichick talked to on the field as the New England Patriots head coach, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Why is he back?
Can you guys see me?
Yeah, you look fantastic. You look great. Clearer than whenever you usually call us from wherever. Actually.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I'm out here in the woods, so I'm glad I can't see you guys. So this is perfect.
You look great. You need to know that you're out in the woods, obviously doing your off-season stuff,
activities,
ventures. Is that a good way to describe it?
That the off-season has begun. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
He's out there smoking peyote or something.
Is that the same interview, though? He starts getting into attacking ESPN and all, though, as well?
No. This was brand new. I think they only talk football today. So
oh, really?
They did.
So this is from today, but what was it, yesterday that he was on talking, blasting
Yesterday,
ESPN?
He went on for his typical Aaron Rodgers appearance that he would always – I mean, they had those going on before ESPN was involved. Like, he always has been on Pat's show. And obviously, he's had controversial appearances ever since the pandemic. And the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing went through, and that debate – people didn't understand that Kimmel went at him and how there was, since COVID, there was a history of them having a back and forth. They finally cleared the air. Aaron went on too long, if we're being honest. He just kept talking and talking and talking about Fauci. So it was boring. And then eventually they moved on. I mean, Pat on Friday and even at the next show, they both have named ESPN executives and called them out to a point as well. So I don't know. I mean, Pat keeps stirring the pot, but he has some of the best ratings ESPN has ever seen. And also, Pat doesn't need them. He just doesn't need them.
Who knows? The guy that stopped by yesterday caused quite a conversation.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Now,
Per usual.
not like that. The
Yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers Tuesday season 4 is done.
Yeah.
Complete season.
There's going to be a lot of people that are happy with that, myself included, to be honest. With the way it ended, it got real loud. And real loud. I'm happy that is not going to be my mentions going forward, which is great news. We're a conversation show. People are having conversations. We live in a country that has freedom of speech, but also you're going to have to deal with the consequences of your freedom of speech. So what I'm saying is we've given a lot of people who've been waiting for us to fail a lot of ammo and things to attack us for over the last week. And we would love to get back to the point where we just move on and continue to silence all the haters over here who can't negotiate as good as I can, all the people over here who can't create a show as good as us, and all the people up here who are just going to always be here and they're going to hustle and do their thing, which I respect. But we need to do that. And that is our focus. That is our goal. And Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. He's a 4-time MVP.
So what exactly did Aaron say to piss everybody off here? Because I know he has the reputation now of the anti-vax, the questioning medical. And the reason why I bring this up is I think we're at a point in society now where people are turning. I was talking to a friend who said he was an anti-vax, and for a while his coworkers were treating him like a leper. But now they make jokes about it. It's kind of like society has moved on. But for some reason, Aaron Rodgers still stays on the sights of a lot of people. Is it because of coronavirus? Is it because he's so just open about trashing ESPN? Is the internet coming after Aaron, or is it the executives at ESPN that want to see no more of him?
Well, Disney owns both ABC and ESPN, and they want to see Kimmel and McAfee play nice, so they don't want to deal with any of this. So that's, I mean, more recently the issues came because Kimmel and Rodgers both have been going back and forth at each other. Originally, the comments were something along the lines of Aaron Rodgers was talking about the Epstein list when that came up last week. He then mentioned and said, I hope Kimmel isn't on the list. He said verbatim, I hope he's not on that list. But then Kimmel took it as he was insinuating he was on the list. But this all goes back to during COVID when he alluded to a list existing. He pretty much said, oh, he has CTE and he's been hit too much in the head. Like there might not be a list, like whatever. So this has been a whole saga of them going back and forth and things of that nature. Kimmel.
So if you have that kind of reaction, Mr. Kimmel, though, it kind of sounds like you're overcompensating, no? I don't want to make any allegations here.
Kimmel had a big statement on it, and it's, I mean, when you listen to it, he sounds very, very upset. So, yeah, it's just weird.
I will try to find that, but I'm trying to pull now. I guess Charles Barkley commented on this, and I'd love to hear what he had to say.
I haven't seen this.
He said, well, I'll summarize it because it's not loading correctly right now. He says, Charles Barkley said he would have punched Aaron Rodgers in the face if the New York Jets quarterback implied he was on Jeffrey Epstein's list like he did Jimmy Kimmel. I love Charles, man.
Oh, that's great.
You think Jimmy's involved?
But that's the thing. He wasn't just going out of the blue and alleging it. And Aaron is a little off the rails. I'm not just sitting here defending him. But I don't think he was trying to do that. I think he was just bringing up the list because Kimmel has said previously, this kook thinks there's a list. Did a whole bit on that.
What do you think of Kimmel? Do you think he do you think he might be involved here?
I don't know. Supposedly,
the reason why I say that is I'm a huge Howard Stern guy. And it's like once Jimmy Kimmel kind of sunk his fangs into Howard Stern and his socialite crew, it's like Howard's trying to appeal to elitism and the elite. So
speaking of Howard, let's go.
Oh, what happened?
Let's go. We have Howard ranting about Aaron because he feels similarly. This is one of the best rants about it.
There was a rumor that I had to help Jimmy Kimmel get rid of any evidence that he was on Epstein Island.
Yes,
that's where
that
I
was another thing.
Can you believe that? I wrote Jimmy. I said, what the fuck is with Aaron Rodgers? What the fucking vicious thing to say? You know what it is when someone's not witty and they're in like a feud with someone?
Who is witty?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Nowadays, what they do is they just make up shit about you.
Yeah.
They make up a conspiracy theory.
I love how many people look like he barely looked into it. And I get it. You can disagree with him and say it's dumb that he said it. I'm fine. You can have that opinion. I don't care. But for him to just say that it's just a conspiracy, like they've been having a back and forth. Like we've had kind of a feud. So of course he went off those. Your boy Howard. You're old.
So disappointing, man. Like I the side of society that he was on previously, it's almost like he's going intentionally against it. Like the blue collar, God, man, he was in private parts. They make a joke of having a woman deep throat a sausage.
I know.
You know, like Billy West was playing Marge Schott, owner of the Cincinnati Reds, dropping the hard ER back in the 90s. And now he's acting like he's one of the elites and condemning.
Like he's never done anything wrong.
Like,
he's
all right,
a saint.
So he's pissed off that Aaron Rodgers suggests that his buddy might be on Epstein's list. Yet his entire career is built on making baseless attacks against other celebrities. So not only are you now going against the grain, you're essentially making commentary on speech. You're trying to say that Aaron Rodgers can't say X, even though he thinks it's funny himself, even though there are things that you said you thought were funny that are now considered offensive. But you don't see the hypocrisy here, Howard?
No, I mean, dude. You hit the nail on the head. I haven't even thought about it like that, but he is the king of that. That is why he's famous. You're so right. You're so right.
Yeah, and like people try to cancel. I don't know how he keeps like avoiding it, and I'm happy he does. Like I there's still a little part of me that hopes that Howard one day realizes what the hell he's been doing, and has like a rash year where he just goes crazy and brings back the old Howard Stern show. But it's not going to happen, and it's disappointing, man. It's disappointing. Howard came after Dom at one point.
Dumb Giordano
patrols the border. And he was making fun of him because he was saying like we need to build the wall and all. But then meanwhile, I'm sure he's listening to dopes like this to get his advice on the border. Take a listen.
From all parts of the political spectrum, one of the biggest issues that we have when it comes to immigration is the fact that we have an undocumented population. Now, you can fix that by trying to build a wall, or you can fix that by trying to document people.
Thank you.
Citizenship.
Oh, good job.
What intelligence! AOC. Oh my God.
He just shakes his head.
Why are people applauding? That's the dumbest thing I've heard in a while. It's like
I feel like his
obviously,
face says it all too. He's just like, yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Like, no shit.
He's like, yeah, sure.
We'll have folks that might say, look at these systems, that our shelter system has weight and things like that. But one of the reasons that our public systems experience weight is because people don't have a documented and reliable path to work and sustain themselves, just like all of our ancestors did, and our grandparents and great-grandparents from all parts of the
our grandparents and great-grandparents, they lived through the Depression. What do you mean? I don't even get that.
I'm bringing up the numbers just because I want to get it right. 62 years over Ellis Island, 12 million immigrants. How many at the southern border in 2022 do you think?
650,000.
2.76 million.
Oh my God.
So for fiscal year 2022, that's 1 year. 1 year.
I guess I should have known that because was Fetterman saying it's the size of Pittsburgh every day? Yeah. And so you got it. Like if you contextualize it that way, it's okay. So for the 62 years, Ellis Island, when it was hot, 12 million immigrants, 2.2 in 1 year now. So extrapolate that, it's about 6 years. So about a tenth of the time. So no, it's nothing like what our ancestors. This is a true problem because it's a faucet. It's a faucet that we refuse to turn off because you, AOC, want a virtue signal so you can extend voting districts and such. And I don't know, man. What do you think? They just want to fundraise. They just want to fundraise and get their money and stay in forever. And like I keep seeing these memes today. I reposted a couple of them. It's Bill Belichick retiring at 70 and Nick Saban retiring at 72. And it's like your local congressman. And it's like the meme from Wolf of Wall Street saying, I'm not fucking leaving. Like, and that's literally, that's where we are. They sit there, they play the game, they fundraise over every issue. They don't really move the needle that much. If they do, they do it a little bit and everyone loses their minds because God forbid a politician does something logical for once. And then, we all move forward with the status quo. So
Yvette Clark saying the quiet part out loud.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here from Brooklyn.
What a shock.
Yeah. Oh, surprising.
Well, and then all those people that voted for this stuff in Brooklyn, I'd love to know what they think too.
All right.
But
So
I hate that narrative though. Voting has consequences. I think we should give people the chance to change their minds as well.
yeah, I agree. Coming locally to Philadelphia, we haven't seen this much here. The migrants, surprisingly, because Kenny was so effusive about being a sanctuary city. But Sherelle Parker takes the stage today, and something we are seeing in Philadelphia is the drug crisis, which ties to the border. I mean, fentanyl's pouring over the border, heroin, everything, and what leads to disaster in parts of our city, such as Kensington. And Sherelle Parker took to the stage today and announced a new deputy chief to essentially look over Kensington. His own job, his only job is to, see over Kensington. I think it's a great idea. I think it's needed in the city. Your thoughts?
It's absolutely needed, and I want to encourage everyone that is watching this or listening to it to go to Channel 5 News on YouTube with Andrew Callahan, who former All Gas No Brakes producer. He's also the producer of the January 6th documentary on HBO, and his family's originally from Philadelphia, and it is the most genuinely honest.
Can we play it on here, you think?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, some of it's hard to look at. It's censored because it's on YouTube, but it's tough to see. Here's a clip.
Philadelphia, to be exact, somewhat. It's known for a lot of drug use, crime, drug use, prostitution.
What are the most popular drugs here right now?
The trank, the dope, and the fentanyl stuff. It's doing them dirty, like bad. Like my mother's from down here. My mother used to do every drug in this book. Glad to say she's cleaned off everything. But me, when I was a child, my mother was down here doing dope. She did not look like this. She had a couple track marks. She had a couple little sores and everything, but her limbs wasn't falling off. It's real bad. Like you can smell them when they walk past. Like,
do you guys believe addiction is a disease?
Yes, it is.
Some people want to get off drugs, but they're so deep into it, they can't. No matter how hard they try, they've been doing it for so long, it becomes a part of them.
What do you think is the solution for someone who's that far in the lifestyle of drug addiction?
Well, my honest opinion, I don't think there's no solution. Then they're gonna do it.
So it goes on for about an hour, man. But
yeah,
just from what I can tell,
say
it's a great.
It's great. He's honest. He gets into a lot. I mean, he talks to people that I haven't seen anyone talk to before. And I mean, he comes from a good place. Like he's talking to these people and trying to tell their story and be genuine and not, I mean, there's people from all over the freaking world that come here now and look at this as some, horror tourism that they want to just come in, get some viral video. And that disgusts me. If you want to go there and try to help and document these people, tell their stories, hopefully put things forward and get people, in a different mindset to try to tackle this issue, because we can't keep doing this. We can't, the redlining of the communities, trying to, get people that have lived in these neighborhoods out, trying to force the addicts to make the property values low, all this. It's just an absolute crazy thing. It shows you how corrupt politics is. And yeah, now in that documentary, he gets into how 70% of the people here are not from Kensington. They come here for trank because it's the strongest drug. It is literally horse tranquilizer that is modified, and there are dirty vets, working with these people. It's crazy to the level that we're at, and to have a mayor that's actually talking about it and acknowledging that it's a problem. I think that video sheds a light on what we're really dealing with, and it makes it seem insurmountable. But this is a step in the right direction. Firing a DEI position and bringing in a Kensington deputy to really oversee the crisis and the mayhem there, I am very much happy with that.
Dude, xylazine scares the crap out of me, man. I can't believe trank and xylazine are like. So I remember watching on Vice, there was a documentary. They did like a drug show, and they talked about how horse trank was huge in Puerto Rico, and it was becoming the drug of choice. And this was like 5-6 years ago, I feel like. And now we're seeing it on the streets of Philadelphia. And please avert your eyes. Fair warning here. I'm going to bring up an image, but these are injuries that trank users suffer from and all. And This is not stuff we should be seeing in a first world advanced country. The guy's arms just wasted away, man. It's absolutely disturbing.
Well, and some of them, it literally they have to amputate, and then now it's getting to the point of where people are legitimately amputating their own limbs on the streets of Philly because they can't afford to get an amputation done.
Just one more image. Please avert your eyes, but that's kind of what you're talking about. It's
my God. Oh my
it's
God.
like how do we get to a place in society where we're allowing people to do this to themselves and not taking them off the streets? What's your solution? I mean, they're trying to get the safe injection sites and all. I'm sorry. I think a lot of this, and this might be insensitive, comes along with the closing of mental hospitals, mental institutions that we once had. We have no place for people who are going through very, very, very deep emotional and mental issues. I feel like you got to get these people off the streets. You got to force them to go down a path of rehabilitation, because if they don't take it themselves, it's just going to continue down this path where we're using horse trank on ourselves and creating these giant wounds. I don't know, man, but how do you do that? Does that become a forceful effort of police going out with wagons and throwing people in the back? It's not going to be a good image for the Sherrell Parker administration.
No, that's not how you deal with it. But the thing is, we have so many social programs. There's already programs helping here. I mean, it's not enough. It's too much. That's the level of I mean, it's insane, the amount of injuries and drug addicted people that need assistance. And I think you start with the social budget. I mean, there's so many social programs in the city. We need to find a way to get that money on the streets and not somehow
in a freaking good way. There was a huge expose. Go check it out. Philadelphia Inquirer. Nonprofits are just wasting away money. Yep. And it's like, why are we not being more careful about what nonprofits we use? Why are we not investing our money in workable solutions?
Exactly. No,
it's so
and
frustrating.
I mean, we need to get down to the bottom of those things, because this is why people are against taxation, because it doesn't even go to help these things. But there are so many. Think about the amount of blight in Philadelphia, the empty buildings, the buildings they could take advantage of, put people in there, get social workers in there, figure out, make some things happen, use city money for a good thing to help the people on the streets and also help the community, the society, get them on their feet, get them trying to work some sort of job, give them a goal every day. Like, this is, make it a community again and use that money for good. Like, it's just the problem. We're also against all this stuff is because look at what happens. Look at where none of our money, we don't see it tangibly in front of us. We see none of this taxation that is taken from us each and every day, especially in the city of Philadelphia. We don't ever see the benefits of it. And Sherrell went on a huge tangent about that when she had her inauguration, which I very much appreciated. And I hope, this Kensington thing gives me hope. I understand that it's just a step one and it's going to be hard, but I think she's kind of putting her money where her mouth is.
It's a drug dealers that Larry won't prosecute. There is no safe injection sites. GTO continues saying they need to concentrate on mobile recovery sites. I think that's a good solution.
Yeah.
I hope Parker and this new Kensington chief do it. Cries some pushback. We're running slight on time, and I want to get into some fun topics. But if you want to go listen, I want to give a shout out to Senator Langerholtz, who actually provided a live point-by-point response to Senator Street, who spoke at a press conference today for Larry Krasner. Act 40, or Senate Bill 140, was a bill written up to essentially install a special prosecutor within a certain distance from SEPTA properties. Larry Krasner has shot back saying that it usurps, voters in Philadelphia. He's called it racist, said it's coming from a Trump person. So Langerholtz joined and responded. This is an ongoing thing. It's going to be fascinating to see where it goes, because Governor Shapiro, a Democrat, sent it right through. And the person who determines who that special prosecutor is going to be is indeed an attorney general who happens to be Democrat. So we'll see where that goes, man. But I want to go quick in case you missed it, because I want to knock out a couple of topics real quick. First off, you saw Jackson, Mississippi, man. What the frick is going on over there? Did you see? It hasn't really made national news, and I don't know why. 215 bodies found in a shallow grave behind like a county jail in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh my God.
Like, what the frick is going on, man? And so back in March 2023, there was a guy by the name of Dexter Wade who went missing. A police officer fatally hit him, and his family wasn't informed of his death, and he was buried without their knowledge. It turned out that he had identification on him, and when his identification was given to the lead detective by the medical examiner, it kind of unfurled from there, and they found 215 bodies behind the county jail. there's no real inferences of what this is. But I mean, if you're looking at the first case of a person who was killed in a hit and run by a police officer, I hope this isn't just a police officer situation, cover up kind of thing going on here. But
I mean,
like,
that sounds
they
like
found it from buzzards. I mean, buzzards were flying over because the graves were so shallow and unprofessionally done that, you know, they were picking at the corpses. It's disgusting.
Oh my God.
Like what the hell is going on?
That seems like a very, very, very deep level of corruption. And that, I mean, behind a prison, that almost implies to me that they're in there like telling these guys to just fight to death and like, you know, doing some crazy stuff. And like, who knows? It sounds like malfeasance almost. And that's where my brain goes immediately. I don't have any, you know, any information or lead toward that. But that for them to ironically bury a body and they already were like kind of used to doing it and then did it that terribly. I don't know, man. Like, you're getting that cocky.
Detective describes a grim scene at the burial site, buzzards flying overhead, bodies were placed in shadowed graves without embalming, leading to disturbing stench that attracted scavengers. Emphasized that the inhumanity of such treatment calls for a more dignified handling of the deceased. Families affected were not notified, and many still believed that their loved ones were missing. This goes beyond race. There's white and black individuals who are buried back there in the same manner. I didn't even think about that, like a fight to the death kind of Fight Club situation, but
I mean,
I don't want to
prisons can
pontificate too
get
much
pretty
because these are
unhinged.
people, you know?
Prisons can get pretty unhinged, and I don't know, especially ever since what happened. Well, yeah, thank you, John. Widespread corruption. Yeah, it's always it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But I just think something like this, I immediately jump to that because also ever since COVID, lack of staff at these places and lack of supervision. I mean, one bad egg could really make something like that go totally haywire.
Speaking of cover-ups, Miami, no new developments, kind of gone silent. There have been. So you sent me this video, that definitive answer of strange creatures. Do you want to tell me why you sent me that?
I don't know. I just like sending you stuff like that.
No, but I didn't know if it was like, was it a sarcastic or was it a? So strange creatures. If you weren't with us last time, there was a huge police response to the Miami Mall New Year's Day, I think it was.
Almost biggest you'd ever see. It's like insane levels.
Yeah. Actually, let me just play some of the news report that you sent me because it actually contextualizes what we're talking about here.
Emergency call that brought dozens of officers to this area to try and get things under control, and they did.
So I want to pause it real quick.
Fireworks and fights in down.
These videos that they're showing are allegedly conspiracy theory forums found that they were actually videos from 2020, and they're not videos of the incident itself. So I just want to put that out there.
Oh, God.
The chaos on the first night of the new year prompting a citywide emergency
All right, look
call.
at this. They're going to show all the cops. Yep.
Miami police swarming the streets. 4 teens would end up under.
Oh, they didn't
arrest.
show enough
2
of
them
it.
Charged with
Goes
battery.
all the way around the block. And
After police say a driver was jumped for asking who threw a bottle at his car. Police were initially called out around 8:30 Monday night after reports of a riot.
you know what? This is going against my point too much. It's still aliens, damn it. I believe it's aliens. Shadow creatures 8 to 10 feet going through the malls of Miami. There were reports about a warehouse that was surrounded in a similar manner by Miami police. I want to believe that there are aliens coming down. Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam is happening.
They're here with us. Actually, I need to send you this. Joe Rogan just had a guess. I can't think of his name. But
Talking about Project Bluebeam?
Former government, yeah, and he told me he told Joe Rogan that essentially they have these meetings and aliens are very much real. He essentially said 100% real.
They are real.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think
I love
that.
You're like, no.
Aliens are real, but I don't believe that Miami thing was aliens. But
no,
we'll see.
I mean, if there was an alien invasion, I would very much expect everything to happen exactly how. Like, think about it. If you're an alien and you want to associate with people in today's world, the best place to do that is a mall, correct?
I guess.
Like communal centers, yeah. So you go there. There's allegedly no video that happened inside. So you would think there would be there's eyewitness reports that pop up on TikTok of shadow creatures that are around. A response of hundreds of cops, definitely overbearing response.
It's all a promotion for the new Alien Covenant.
nothing in national media. I think all those boxes would indeed be checked if we did have an alien invasion happen. And look at us, we're just forgetting about it now. And I think that when aliens do eventually come down, we're going to forget about it the next day, like everything else.
I just think this is a big promotion for the new Alien Covenant movie. That's all it is, which is coming out this year, and I'm very excited for that. Have you watched those movies? Because you need to if you haven't.
I watched like the old back Ridley Scott ones, but like not the recent.
Watch the Alien and Alien Covenant, the first two. Actually, the third one comes out this year. Maybe ironically, because they know we're going to see the real aliens this year.
You know what movie I watched was Nope.
Oh, Nope. Nope's good, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of thought it was weird that the alien itself was a craft, but
it was weird.
So on Nope, though, one of the things that I think this is the elites kind of sending messages, previews to us plebeians is every time the alien would be nearby, it was like an EMP and all your devices would stop working. So that might explain why there was no footage filmed inside the mall if those aliens would cancel out the You want me to move on from here? More conspiracy theory, because this one really pisses me off because there's a lot of anti-Semitic shit about it. But the tunnels dug under the Jewish synagogue in New York City, I don't know why the internet instantly jumps to child molestation, but people were trying to tie that because one of their tunnels comes out next to a child museum, that there's something nefarious going on here. I read an account from a person involved with the Orthodox Jewish community, and what I kind of gathered, if you're not aware, what happened is there was a police response after one group of Orthodox Jews called police because there was a property dispute. And what was discovered is that this more radical sect of these Orthodox Jews, a lot of younger guys, there's a mission in their faith that they need to expand the temple. And essentially what the justification is that I've heard is these tunnels underground were essentially just expanding the physical reach of said temple. And there was a dispute between the older members of the synagogue and the younger members just did it. And but then there's a lot of conspiracy stuff. There's a picture of a mattress that came out that kind of disgusts me, and people were trying to make some anti-Semitic connections here. And I don't know, man. As a conspiracy theorist, I think it takes a lot out of any kind of fun you can have with it when things turn racist like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously tension's already high with this, so you kind of assume that. The second I saw this story, I almost thought it was fake. And I really immediately, especially even the real pictures, it made me think of The Dark Knight when they have all the tunnels stormed. It seemed fake, and apparently Eric Adams said we need to figure out what's in the tunnels, and made all these officers walk down there. So, I mean, it's
like I understand
that level.
There's a lot of negativity around this because I think I can vibe with it. What's it doing structurally to my foundation? If you're digging under my property, is that a greater risk of my property collapsing in because you dug a tunnel under my property? I think a lot of those questions need to be answered. And I want to know what the hell, if that's true with what I've heard about the Orthodox community. That was a friend of a friend, essentially, that I got that from. So, I mean, secondhand source. It's more realistic to me than you would think. Nick Saban out at Alabama, but more importantly, J.J. McCarthy to the national championship, right? And his father, too. Maybe his father should stay away because...
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, God, man. No, you can't be doing that.
What are we doing?
Is that JJ's girlfriend?
Oh, my God.
And dad?
Oh, I think it is, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I can't even imagine. Oh my God. It's the worst.
What would you do?
It's
Your dad was caught on camera doing that.
Yeah, if you're just listening, it's literally just a dad just swiping his finger on her butt and then lightly tapping it. Just the weirdest way possible while she's celebrating a
I didn't even see the tap.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Dude, so here's the finger. Yeah, right there. And then
it's a two-hander.
No.
It's a two-hander. He rubs his one finger and the other hand kind of slaps it. Oh, it's gross. It's gross.
Jimmy said when he said Miami, I almost instantly went back to Rich because I thought it was sports. Go back to Rich anyway. He's much better than we are. We're just
talking about aliens, dude. Come on.
Yeah, come on. But we will talk about sports if you want. I went to the Pride Day to the Flyers last night.
They won. They won. Let's go.
Did. Screw Cutter. That was the rhetoric
Yes.
throughout. If you're
Yes.
unaware of the Flyers, there's a situation involving a draft pick in which he forced his way out of town. You can contextualize that if you want.
Yeah, so essentially the Flyers got the first amazing USA hockey player they've ever drafted, one of the great players. I mean, they had a terrible record, but drafted him at 5th. They didn't think he was ready to immediately make the jump. The Flyers have been trying to talk to him. Supposedly he's been disgruntled. They went overseas to see him, especially with the World Juniors. They essentially refused to meet with him. Patrick Sharp, Danny Briere, and all of their leadership refused to meet with them. Also, so I've also heard when he was first drafted, he talked about how much he loved and admired Sidney Crosby. And I'm not saying you can't. A lot of hockey players do. You know, he talked about how
That's the mentality I don't want in Philadelphia, though.
Well, but he didn't end it with saying, "I'm so excited to play against him. I can't wait to stick check him or get a body check in. I'm excited to be his competition." Said none of that. I don't think he understood Philly from the start. Maybe he just didn't want to be here in general. But ever since this happened, people are trying to figure out why and how. A big report that came out was Kevin Hayes, supposedly former Flyer, very much influenced Cutter and made him pretty much refuse to go to the team.
Both played at Boston College, right? I think.
Yeah, and he had ties to him. This is Tortorella sounding off after San Filippo made those reports, and he kind of gave his 2 cents on this one. Listen in.
Is the guy here? The guy here that caused Kevin Hayes a problem?
Yes.
You?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? You think Kevin Hayes is going to do something like that?
Any last questions?
Person letting the first 2 buy him.
It pisses me off that you guys throw that around and affect someone's life. Kevin Hayes and I had a problem. We couldn't come to an agreement how to play. That's a good man. That's a good man. And what you said is going to stay with him. That's what you guys don't understand. You say something, and you're going to sit there and say you have the right sources. I call. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's Dom
I like
to us
this guy a
behind the
lot.
scene.
When did he come, Coach? Last year? Before last year?
2 years ago, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, this is his second season.
So I remember Torts with like New York and all, and it was always fascinating to follow then.
Yeah, a decade ago we played him in the Winter Classic. He
Yeah.
beat us with the Rangers, and now he's here. So
It's great. I love the front office, man, and the camaraderie at the stadium was amazing. Like it's really cool that Flyers fans really seem to have something to look forward to again. A lot of applause for Drysdale. He got an assist in his first game. Drysdale was the person we traded for Cutter, or traded Cutter for. Looks fantastic. He was, I think, a 6th overall draft pick in 2020, something like that.
Yeah.
He was a very high draft pick himself. So Flyers looking good. Eagles not so much. Eagles facing off Monday night against the Buccaneers, and man, there's a lot of questions. Or do you think a lot of people are wondering if they're playing possum with their offense? They're not showing their hand. They're running these screens purposefully. They're running absolutely terrible play calling purposefully so they can essentially have a fresh slate when it comes to playoffs and not allow the other team to game plan against them. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. I think that's just excuses being made for the Eagles at this point. Your thoughts on whether or not Sirianni's actually a fantastic conniving coach who's hidden his hand, or if he just sucks?
I think it's just an assistant group that wasn't necessarily up for the task, and Sirianni couldn't really figure out how to do it on his own either. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I'm very much concerned of the involvement of Howie and Laurie. I don't know if they get too involved with the assistants and try to kind of change the narrative in the locker room, but it seems like they're a little more involved than I'd like. I don't want this place to turn into Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. So that kind of concerns me. I mean, the reason I say that is I feel like the reason Doug left was because of the assistants. He wanted to pick his own assistants after winning a Super Bowl. Second year he doesn't win a Super Bowl. They want to change his assistants. He asks them, says, whoa, let me, figure that out. I mean, and we all know what happened there. And now they have Sirianni, who is probably just a yes man to them to an extent. And I think Sirianni is still a good coach. I mean, he's given us great results, but I'm just worried on a deeper level. Like, can they sustain success? Are they too meddling when it comes to a front office standpoint. Because, I mean, in any career, you kind of need to let people do their job. You can't have someone there trying to kind of do the job for them. It always creates weird tensions. And I don't know. I think that's my biggest worry. If Sirianni is kind of holding back, I would be shocked just because they really wanted to bounce back within the last 2 to 3 weeks and they just couldn't.
Yeah.
So I think that, to me, they really are going to have a fresh slate, and they'll probably, the only way they'll win is if they're really honest with themselves and change everything fundamentally. But I am not necessarily expecting a win. I kind of want to take Bucks money line, and
you can't bet against the Eagles.
I'm very, very.
You can't
I'm
do
just,
it.
I'm
You can't
just
do it.
not optimistic right now.
You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia. Bad things.
That's why.
Speaking about the presidential race, while you hear that voice, Jimmy writes in that Rand Paul is going to endorse for president tomorrow morning, allegedly, and we have this picture. Yeah, what's going on there?
My boy RFK with Rand Paul. Could you imagine if the two guys that wrote the biggest books on Dr. Fauci?
You don't think there's a chance that Rand would run as his vice president, is there?
Dude, could you imagine? That'd be sick. I think independents.
If that were to happen, though, I think Trump's screwed then. Like, not screwed. I think he still has a hell of a shot to win, but no, I'm sorry. He's gonna freaking do well with conservatives. I don't think he has a shot to win though, because that splits the vote then for Trump voters and not for Biden voters. Because Biden voters, if they see Rand Paul in there, they're gonna say, you know what, all this guy's doing around coronavirus, he's a kook. I don't like RFK anymore. But Trump voters are gonna be like, you know what, Rand Paul is a truth teller. He's telling a lot of truths right now. It's nice to see him teamed up with Kennedy. Maybe I'll go that direction instead. It's going to be bad for Trump, man.
I think libertarians very much like Rand Paul, and also people on the right a lot.
I like Rand Paul a lot.
I also do. I mean, he's one of the few Republicans I always say I like. I think he's someone who at least tries to be mostly a straight shooter and gets to the point he wants to get to. I agree with you. I think an RFK Rand Paul ticket would give him a lot more publicity and I think clout, for lack of a better word, with the GOP and their voters. If you read that Quinnipiac poll with Pennsylvania, right now it is saying 49% Joe Biden wins in a tight race. I believe Trump barely got under. It wasn't 49 exactly because RFK got 11. I don't have it in front of me, but essentially Biden edges out Trump and RFK with 11%. I think Jill Stein with around 4%. So it's tight, and it's something like
so polls are saying that already it's Trump supporters that are more so going for RFK than Biden.
As of right now in Pennsylvania, per the Quinnipiac poll that came out yesterday, it is showing that Trump seems to be affected more by independents than Biden. But who really believes polls? Because remember last year, fall of 2022, you would have believed that the most conservative government was ever going to be voted in, and that was absolutely not the case. So
it's true. Yeah, I'm excited to see because it's absolutely instrumental what happens here. PA is going to be maybe the state in 2024.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, we are pretty much the epitome of America today. We're a very big mixing pot of confusion when it comes to predicting politics. Nobody can really predict the way we're going to go ever.
Just checking the comments here. GTO says, I'd like to know what happened between Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock.
Oh yeah. I mean, that has to go back years and years and years. Stephen A. saw the McAfee controversy and said, tap me in. Like, he's like, I'm ready. I've been waiting to do.
But I mean, I think I remember that beef going back even when weren't they both at ESPN at one point?
Oh
too?
yeah,
like,
they've been at each other's throats many times.
Yeah.
I mean, Stephen A. went on an all-time rant, called him a fat bastard, pretty much.
I'd like to hear about the canceling the Star Wars Rey movie and that director.
Yeah, we talked about that last week a little bit. Oh my God, that director! They're pretty much giving a new Star Wars director the reins in the name of DEI.
Yep.
That's pretty much the news. So cancel your Disney Plus.
Drive it down into the ground. And
if you
like, why are they still going? Haven't we learned though that that's a losing effort at this point? Like nobody wants that crap in 2024. I feel we're moving past it.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like Star Wars fans and Marvel fans are watching that stuff less and less because of Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, but
Writes, and I still have hope with Filoni and the announcement of the Mandalorian movie coming out before.
Yeah, I mean, Mandalorian has been very good. So.
Yeah. You know what's horrible? I already said it last week, but it's Reacher. Continue to watch it, season 2. It's so bad.
Continue to watch it.
Yeah, no, I can't. It's addicting. It's like cigarettes. You know they're bad for you, but you just keep imbibing.
I have one question for you when it comes to streaming. Have you watched The Boys?
Yeah. Well, I watched the
haven't.
first season of. It's fantastic.
I need to watch it. I think I'm going to start.
Why haven't you watched it? Do you not?
I
have
don't
Prime?
know. I don't know. I've just dragged my feet on it. My cousin was telling me you have. I said today I'll just watch it. I might start it tonight.
It's a really good series. Like what The Boys is, if you're unaware, it's a very gritty superhero story in which superheroes are kind of shown not to be, morally on top of things all the time. Sometimes they falter, and it shows the human side, and these heroes that the country knows them as are not really truly what they seem.
Yeah, kind of like pull back the curtain a little bit, in a sense. Is it almost like a metaphor for politics, kind of?
Sorry, I lost my screen for a second. Yeah, sorry, I lost my screen there for a second. Yeah, so and it's what I really like there is on Prime, it's very dark, very gritty, and it gives that perspective of your heroes are not what you think they are, and there's some kind of social commentary there without being too far in your face. So I do suggest. Speaking of social commentary without blasting in your face, which I think can be done, like we're talking about wokeness and how it's killing Hollywood, but politics and social issues have been involved in movies for a long time, and a lot of times it's not smashing in the face. I mean, The Philadelphia was a Oscar-nominated winning movie, I think, and it was about AIDS, but it wasn't preaching to the degree that these new films are. So I finally found a film that's almost an American classic, and I want to suggest it. You can find it on Peacock. I told you about it, I think, The Holdovers with Paul Giamatti.
Oh, yeah. He actually just won some awards on it.
Yeah, they had the Golden Globes, and they were like a sleeper almost to win some of these awards, and Paul Giamatti won Best Actor, and a lot of people, Oscars previews, Giamatti's up there for Best Actor in a leading role. And this picture is being up there for Best Picture. But to our listeners, I mean, those that like film and movies, the cinematography is beautiful. It's shot, like transition scenes are shot where there's 3 or 4 of them traveling. So it feels like a 70s show where you feel like you're there, and they do a great job of creating a setting. And it's just a story of a guy, Paul Giamatti, who's a curmudgeonly teacher of ancient history for multiple reasons. And he's punished that he has to watch kids, almost like a Breakfast Club situation. And all the kids get to go on a skiing trip besides one when they can't reach his parents. So Paul Giamatti's stuck with this one kid and the cook, the chef. And the acting is amazing, and they learn to accept one another. There's nothing corny about it. It's very pulling at your heartstrings. No political themes, DEI crap thrown in your face. Just a really well done movie. So check it out, Anthony. I
think anything Paul Giamatti does is great, man. Like there's very few actors that I still have the opinion of if they're in it, I'm watching it no matter what. And I think he is one of the few that I always say, if he's in the movie, yeah, let's watch it. I don't care. I don't even need to see.
And he's someone that I learned to like him more so. Like I knew him from Private Parts really as Pig Virus or Pig Vomit. And then I knew him from Sideways, which he's freaking amazing in.
And what's that movie he's in with Amanda Bynes and Big Liar?
Frankie, Big
Frankie
Fat Liar.
Muniz. Yeah, that's a good one.
Where he's painted blue at one point. So I didn't know him as this great serious actor. Then he does John Adams, he does Billions, and he's starting to get this vibe of him being this dramatic actor. And then he pulls this movie off, dude. It's amazing. He might be up there in my favorite. Trying to see if there's any clip I can show of just the quality of acting that the guy does. But I'll show you a little bit of the trailer. Just kind of gives you the feel. But even the trailer, like what I love about this film is it feels like you're watching a movie that was made in the 80s about the 70s. Where are we at? And this is the final thing we'll do before we head out of here. Just letting you know, Anthony.
You just earned yourself detention, sir. Me with you is already one big detention. Son of a... Sir, I don't understand.
That's glaringly apparent.
I can't fail this class.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Mr. Coates. I truly believe that you can.
Every year at Barton Academy, students, faculty, and staff depart the campus for a 2-week winter break. But there are always an unfortunate few who have nowhere to go for the holidays. They're known as the holdovers.
Mr. Hunnam.
Hello, Mary.
I heard you got stuck with babysitting duty this year. How'd you manage that?
You know, he used to be a student, right? Yeah. That's why he knows how to inflict maximum pain on us.
I thought all the Nazis were hiding in Argentina.
Stifle it, Pele.
You just earned yourself a detention, sir. Being here with you is already one big detention. Son of a bitch, that's another detention.
Do you think I want to be babysitting you? No, I was praying your mother would pick up the phone or your father would arrive in a helicopter or a flying saucer.
Your father's dead.
You don't tell a boy that's been left behind at Christmas that nobody wants him? What's wrong with you?
There's nobody here. My biggest pet peeve is trailers that give away too much, so I'm going to stop it there. But
Yeah,
Anthony,
I
check it
hate
out,
this.
dude.
Yeah,
I think
can
you
we
and Mary
just
would
show
have a
30
great date night
seconds?
watching it.
Oh my God!
Right? Why do we need to tell the entire plot of the film? Why do we need the entire plot? But the holdovers, the reason why I bring it up is within the next week, you're going to start hearing the critics give their Grammy Oscar nominee suggestions, and they will be coming out soon. I want to put my foot on the ground right now. Holdovers deserves the Oscar for Best Film this year. Paul Giamatti, Best Lead Actor. And I guarantee within the next couple of weeks, you're going to be hearing a lot more about this film, The Holdovers. Anthony,
especially after his picture holding that Golden Globe at In-N-Out.
Oh, I think I have that too. Yeah. Like he just seems like a really down-to-earth, cool guy, and I'm happy he's getting what he deserves.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch Holdovers and I'll watch The Boys this week, and we'll get back to you.
Oh, yeah, I love you just sitting there with the Golden Globes. Where is this, an In-N-Out burger?
Yeah, In-N-Out burger out there in LA. That would be, oh my God, could you imagine?
So, Anthony, we'll get into more Oscars and stuff and entertainment next week. But until then, I hope you have a fantastic remainder of the week. Any big plans for the Dawn Show or Kale & Company?
Tomorrow we'll have a packed show. We got Nate Benefield at 10:05 with Dawn, Guy Shiraki at 10:30, and then Andy Bloom at 11. So quick hit Friday with you, a bunch of topics. Of course, still talking about the GOP stuff, William Penn stuff, and plenty more live and local. And Kale & Company, we will have Tony Bruno tomorrow. I believe at 8:30. He's filling in.
How's he feeling?
He's better now. He's not filling in, but he's making up for his missed appearance on Wednesday because he was sick. So
yeah, wasn't feeling too great. Tomorrow, Dom Giordano program noon until 3. 12:40, we'll have Jeff Van Drew. 2 o'clock, Curtis Sliwa, former mayoral candidate for New York, commenting. He's actually holding a protest about the Brooklyn school, the migrants. Illegal immigrant situation. The illegal alien. What was the word that he was upset I wasn't using?
He wanted
the
to say illegal. Yeah.
The illegal situation.
Illegal.
Chris says, I don't have any interest after that trailer. Brother, do me a favor. Watch it and get back to me and tell me it's not really good. But give me, I got to say this. First 20 minutes, very slow. And I was texting my brother and dad, who suggested that I watch it as well, saying this movie sucks. So I had to watch the entire 2+ hours of it, but it's a movie that I really think it's going to become an American classic, and it's going to become a Christmas film that people refer to in the future, I think, as well.
Oh, let's hope.
John says, be safe, guys. And he says, illegal criminal aliens. Should we add any more qualifications to it?
Yeah, I mean, we'll leave it there for now.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow on air. Anthony with Kale & Co., Dawn, me with Dom, and we'll see you next week on the other side, right here on youtube.com/@1270PHD. Please go like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one, everyone.
See ya.